Welcome to Starseed Gathering podcast. This podcast is hosted by Annabelle Ivaya, intuitive mentor and healer. This platform welcomes all of the light workers, healers, and coaches from all around the globe to share their story, their awakening, their path, and their mission here on earth today. You will meet a beautiful soul today that wants to share their light with you. Allow the story that you will hear and all of the information to land within you like a breeze of love. I welcome you into this sacred space. Enjoy this podcast.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Starseed Gathering, the podcast where I invite light workers and healer and coaches all around the globe to speak with us about their services, the life that they had until today, what actually brought them to this energy of wanting to have a spiritual business in the first place. And we have Megs with us today. She's on the other side of the planet from me. Megs is in Australia. She is a beautiful soul that helps spiritual entrepreneurs. She has her own way of doing it. And I'm very excited to have you. So please, Megs, share a bit about who you are, what is important to you, anything that could make people feel you and in your energy and know more about you.
Thanks, Annabelle. Hi, I'm Megs. So my goodness, my journey has been long to get to this point, I must say. It kind of started when I was really young. I was kind of the black sheep of the family, you could say. My family were all into sports and watching footy and cricket. And I was in my room playing with my crystals and my tarot cards. I had oracle cards, I had candles, I had incense sticks, I had all the stuff, and I'd be there, doing my thing. And then I'd hear, yes, like, because some team had scored and my family are really happy about it. So I was kind of the odd one out. And I'm not talking just my parents, my brothers, my cousins, my uncles, my aunties, my grandparents. Everybody was all into sports except for dear old me. So it started way back then. And then I kind of lost it a little bit because I had no one to really nurture that side of me. So I lost it. And my father passed away. And so I just kind of like reclused. And then it wasn't until after he passed away that my mum was like, oh, let's go to a medium and a clairvoyant and see if your dad comes through. And then I kind of like sparked it back up again. And then, it's not until you have kids that you kind of wake up to a lot of things. But then when you become an entrepreneur, business owner, it was like, whoo, slapped me in the face. So I was a hairdresser and I was having my own business as a hairdresser, and then started down this journey. The big thing was that I was having nightmares. I was actually having not full on waking up, punching my husband kind of nightmares. It was very intense because I was getting psychically attacked and I didn't know any of that kind of stuff even existed. So that was the real kicker for me, to wake up and smell the roses. So I still struggle with nightmares every now and again, but mostly it's because I'm watching something really intently on the TV. And I'm like, oh, I will dream about it if I binge watch something. So I have to be very careful with things like that. So yeah, that kind of what sparked it. And then it's just grown from there. I moved to this area almost 10 years ago, and I knew nobody here trying to grow a business. And I just needed something that was for me. So when I was having these nightmares and I went to a psychologist, and she said, you're an empath and you're absorbing somebody's energy. I knew who it was, but that's beside the point. And so I Googled what's an empath. I had no idea. And they said that it makes good psychics. And so I started down my psychic development. And now, 10 years later, here we are.
Oh wow, that's so interesting. I used to have a lot of nightmares too when I was younger. Like sleep paralysis type of dreams. Oh yeah, they were not fun. I remember those. And it takes time before you understand there's energies. You know, you're not sleeping. You know, the energies can interfere with you while you sleep, and those protection mechanisms we learn later on in life. So wow, that's very interesting. And did you start to do readings? Is that what you started to do, like psychic readings? Was it in person? Was it online? Tell me more.
Yeah, so I Googled, psychic development. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently it was. And funnily enough, it was like 5 minutes from my house. So I was so excited. And it got me away to meet some new people, and I got some hairdressing clients from it. And so it was very surreal. The first time I learned how to tap in, they showed me how to tap in. And then the first thing that I said was like, it's so outrageous. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember thinking, oh my God, how did I know that? Like, I couldn't explain. I just literally met this person and I knew how many brothers and sisters they had. And like, I knew so much about this person, and just literally met them. So I was like, okay, maybe I have something. Maybe there's something there. I mean, now I know we all have something, but like it took me a long time to trust it. And then doing the mediumship the next week, because she just threw me right in the deep end. She's like, you've got it, let's go get it. So mediumship the next week, I was like, how did I know that this woman's brother died of a car accident? And it was like very intense, very, very intense. So it was kind of like a very strange experience, I will say that. Yeah.
Okay. And so you were doing hairdressing still at that point and learning your gifts, stuff, remembering the gifts that you already had when you were younger. I imagine that you were already tapped into all of that, but it was kind of pushed away. And what was it that actually made you feel like, okay, I'm ready, I want to make it my business now?
Well, it wasn't until actually COVID hit, because at the time, the first round of COVID that we had here in Australia, hairdressers could stay open. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that we were allowed to stay open, but we were allowed to stay open. So it was my decision to close, because people are coming to my house to get their hair done. It's not like if I was in a shopping center, it might be different, but I don't see how. I don't know. But people are coming to my house, and my kids are here. And not long before that, my father-in-law got diagnosed with lung cancer. So it was like, I don't want to risk getting COVID and not going to be able to go and see him, or giving it to my kids or something like that. So I decided to close down. But before that, I was kind of dabbling a little bit here and there in the psychic, you know. I was actually in a group coaching thing for hairdressing, like how to grow my business hairdressing. And then the man that was there, I was like, the owner of the business, I was like, oh, I've just learned how to do psychic readings. Do you mind if I give some of your clients psychic readings? I'm not trying to steal them or anything like that. Like, I don't have a business like that. And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And every single one of them were like, man, you should start a psychic coaching. You should start a psychic coaching. And then when we closed down, I was like, I should start psychic coaching. So I did, but major imposter syndrome, like major issues. I was not ready. Kind of got thrown in there. So I didn't make much for the first couple of years, but making decent amount of money now. So it was worth it.
Right. And I think, it is one thing to reconnect to your gifts, to practice them and to be like, ooh, I have this gift. This is fun. I like it. Or like be surprised by how much information you can receive, and then going to earn money with it, and all of the, limiting beliefs and all of the things about spirituality and money, and, all of the things that we hold about that, and allowing ourselves to be seen in that role, right? Because it's quite different than a hairdresser for you, right? It's just right.
Yeah, well, it's a service. People walk in with regrowth and they walk out without regrowth. So it's a tangible thing to sell. Whereas psychic is like it can be difficult to make psychic readings a tangible thing. And so yeah, and then you get people that are like, well, if it's a gift, then you should give it for free. And I'm like, but it's still taking up my time and my energy. And I do have bills that I need to pay. And so, like, grow up. But yeah, it kind of, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to yeah, remove that imposter syndrome and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very important. Your subconscious is so strong and your nervous system is just so strong. You don't realize how strong it actually is.
Yeah, like we're being blocked without wanting or without even noticing it. It's like you want, but there's an energy behind you or through you that is blocking clients from coming in, the money coming in. It's like we're our own blocks are held within us, right? So it's so important to look within and do this clearing. And I think for all of us, it takes a while. Like unless you're coached, which I know you worked with that too. So please share what you do to help coaches and healers. Talk more about your business, beautiful, how it is right now, because I'm pretty sure it has evolved a lot since you started.
Whoa, yeah, wow. I did, like I said, I did struggle for the first couple of years. I have battled endometriosis my entire life. So the pain that I was experiencing in those first few years was like, I get emotional thinking about it. It was very, very intense. Like I was talking to a hair client and I was like, during COVID, my body kind of felt a lot better because I wasn't doing hairdressing. So it took me 2 years to still say goodbye to it because it was like, it's a part of you. And I said to a client, I can't do this anymore. Like my body's just in too much pain. And she goes, yeah, you think you're hiding it from us. You're not. Like, we see things. There's mirrors all through this place. We can see the pain that you're going through. So it was a lot for me to like release a lot of that kind of stuff as well. But this whole time I was doing all these readings for 4 years and like really focusing so much. And I help so many people remove energetic blocks. So we can do subconscious work and nervous system work, but until you actually release that energy from your body, it's still there. It's still there. Like it's still a part of you. It takes a long time. Well, it can take a long time for that energy to actually leave the body. That's why sometimes when you go to do something, your brain is telling you, yes, do it, but then you feel sick in the stomach and then all of a sudden you feel heavy and you're like, oh, it's out of alignment. And it's not that it's out of alignment. It's just that you have those old programs still stuck in your actual physical body. So I kind of do that type of thing. We release the energy from the body as well as the subconscious mind. So I've done a lot of training and I'm going to do more training coming into next year about actually removing the beliefs from the subconscious, but then telling your body like it's okay to now earn money. It's safe to now, you're not going to get rocks thrown at you anymore. We've still got so much programming from this lifetime, and this lifetime is intense. Like this timeline that we're on right now is intense. But we also have from previous lifetimes where our soul has decided to come back. So we've got lots of stuff that we need to filter through. Like our soul remembers. Like I was talking to you before, going to Egypt soon. And my soul has been, like Egypt's been calling my soul. And I truly believe it was because at one stage in a previous life, I have lived there and it was my home. And I actually had a past life regression where Egypt was my home. Like I was an advisor, spiritual advisor to the Queen. So, it's like it's been calling me. So we've got previous lifetimes, this lifetimes, then we've got, what our parents have accidentally infused within us and what society's accidentally infused within us. And then we've got kids that we're trying to do the best that we can for, like, so there's a lot that's going on. So I kind of like bring you back to yourself, because all the answers that you could ever possibly need live within that internal wisdom, your intuition. So once you really tap into that and use that to run your business instead of what everybody else is telling you should be doing, you're running your business how your soul wants you to run your business, and it's so much more profitable, so much easier. You're not like fighting against the grain, and yeah, it's just really good. So I have the Wealth Frequency Codes program, which is a 12-week program where we go through pretty much all of that. So it's an intense 12 weeks, but the women in there that have been in there for the past 5 weeks have been like, the results that they've had have been unreal.
Oh, that makes me so happy. And I think that's why we do this work, right? That's like what I'm feeling is like you've learned things and you're now ready to like show it to people. And I think at some point we just want people to skyrocket. It's like you don't have to take all of those years to get where I am now, right? Maybe it can be a lot faster for you and we can do the process together. And usually when it's a group container, it's so much more powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I've been asking like business coaches. I've said I've got major imposter syndrome, guys. Like, I'm just warning you that me taking action is not easy because I have these feelings. I've got unworthiness, I've got imposter syndrome, and they're all made up constructs. They're not actually, they're not part of us. They're made up. So people that come to me and go, "Oh, I've got imposter syndrome," I'm like, "Do you really?" You actually don't. You just think that you do. Because I thought that I did for ages, for years, and it kept me stuck. So it's like once you realize that they're actually just made up, it's just all made up. So
Right.
it's actually quite funny how much, it has been proven that imposter syndrome has been made up.
Right. It's like it feels like or and I mean there's a good thing about internet and Facebook and all of those social media platforms, like don't get me wrong, but sometimes like we absorb so much, oh yeah, I got that, and it has a title to it. So it's like, okay, let me take this label.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I understand. So I've told all these coaches, I'm like, look, I have this thing and I can't seem to get rid of it. Will you be able to help me get rid of it? And they're like, yes, we do strategy. We do, like, we'll help you with that. Don't worry about it. It's all good. No worries. And I'm like, all right, awesome. So I pay so much money for these coaches to help me with the business and the imposter syndrome, and not one of them did. I was like, okay, well, what do I do about my imposter syndrome? And they're like, just get over it and just get it done. And I'm like, okay, but how do I do that? And so, I was just kind of tired of being like, open yourself up to receiving. Yeah, okay, but what does that actually mean? Well, how can I do that? And so, my dogs are going to start going crazy because kids are leaving to go to school now. Yeah, so your mindset and your energetics are actually 80%. The strategy and the action only take up 20% of the successful side of your business. So a lot of it has to do with, you can have all the strategies in the world, but if you can't physically take the action, the big bold action that's needed, you're not going to be able to get the success as fast as you want to.
Right. How do you include all of your gifts when you work with people? I'm interested in knowing.
Interest. So I use light language a lot. I freaking love light language. When I do light language on myself, and when I'm doing it for other people as well, like my whole body tingles with energy. It's like sometimes it's very hard not to like giggle because the energy feels really nice as it's like passing through your body. And I've had people that are like from America, like, you know, different areas of the whole world going like, I literally felt like you were standing right in front of me doing this. And I was like, yes, I jumped through the internet and then I came back. So like it's very in light language is very, very strong. So that's my main modality that I use. I do lots of visualizations. We do Ho'oponopono with a little bit of added Megsness to it. That's a nice word. I'm going to use that. Megsness to it. So I've like come up with my own modalities over the years. And actually, the other day, I was doing a recording for the people in the Wealth Frequency Codes program, because I do, like, we've got the training and then we've got energy work. So there's the training of it to understand where it's coming from and how it's affecting you. Then we've got the training, like maybe 2 or 3 energy trainings as well. So they're mostly visualizations or journaling or things like that. And I was doing it, and when I got off, I was like, "Oh, that was a really powerful visualization. I really like that." And then I was loading it up onto YouTube as the hidden link to put into my portal, and I was like, got this just such intense energy come over me, going, "This is a modality. This is like a new thing." So it's like I've called it the prosperity attunement process. So you're actually like recoding your cells, your subconscious and your DNA to align with the frequency of wealth, to receive easier. So there's like, it's no longer just going to be, oh, just open up to receiving. Oh yeah, just do that. It's like, I've got like a process that I can take people through to actually attune themselves to be on, like literally on the same frequency as money. So very powerful, and I'm excited. I'm so excited for it. So lots of new things that are coming, like that, you know, the coaching industry, sometimes they just don't know. They just don't know. It's all regurgitated nonsense. A lot of the time it's like, I'm just regurgitating what this person told me, and it kind of made sense a little bit, even though I don't actually know really what it means, but I'm just going to say it anyway because it sounds professional. Like, you know, just get onto the same frequency as well. Just open to receiving. Oh, okay, well, that's nice and good. And how do I do that? And it's like, well, just do it. Just start saying thank you more often. Just get into gratitude. It's like, okay, but what are the mechanics of that? And because I have both a linear brain and the non-linear brain, so I need to understand it from a linear point of view so that I can understand how it affects me in an energetic point of view. Does that make sense?
Right, right. That's exactly what you do with your clients now then, right? So you build your own program based to, and that's so funny that we do that, right? Because I see myself in what you're saying. You know, like the things that have developed because I was knocking at people's door and not finding it, and I actually found it through whatever I was doing. Then it's like, well, we're gonna make it more understandable so that people can actually put it and embody it for themselves, right? We want to empower them, because otherwise it's like, as you said, otherwise everybody would read one book and they would be good with wealth, right? If
Yeah,
anything, it's just
100%.
like yeah.
Yeah, well, the majority of it is that people are living from their brain because we're being taught to. But our brain is not meant to think, it's like our brain cannot think its way out of a problem. You have to feel your way out of the problem. And then the thought process will be like, oh, there's the solution right there. So, especially as women, we're meant to be living our life in touch with our body and letting our body guide us, letting that inner wisdom guide us. But we're being taught through school and, you know, just become like an old rich white guy, but work for the old rich white guy. Don't become the old rich white guy. So we're being taught that we have to think, but only taught how to think in a certain way that was going to benefit them. You know, that's how the whole schooling system was thought up, was by, I think Henry Ford had something to do with the 9 to 5 workday or something. There was something about that. And it's like, oh, let's create workers. And now we've got to uncreate the worker and recreate the entrepreneur in a conscious way, because there's so many people out there that are wealthy and miserable because they haven't done it in a conscious way. Whereas a lot of us now look at that and go, if it means being miserable, I don't really want that level of wealth. But we can have that level of wealth and be super, super happy and not think the only reason I'm happy is because I'm wealthy. No, you feel it from the inside, and that attracts other people to work with you because you're happy. Nobody wants to work with a miserable. We've all been in corporate or in a salon or in somewhere at some stage, and there's one person that's just miserable, and you're like, just when they call in sick, you're happy. You're so happy because you don't have to deal with their shit that day. Whereas, we don't want to be that person. We really don't. We're waking up to the fact that we don't have to be that person anymore.
Definitely. Definitely. It's like waking up to our own power, and how when we align to who we really are, then things come naturally. Because the forcing, the exhausting path, we've been there, done that. We don't want that anymore. And even less so with the business. And I think it's important that we support others to do that too, because there's so many people with gifts and they're like, oh yeah, it's a hard way. Everybody, there's a lot of people struggling in the spiritual reality of this work. Definitely, right? The spiritual entrepreneurs that are having issues with money, they exist. But if other people are bringing wealth codes to this reality, then it's more attracting to people too, to be like, okay, I can do it. And I'm going to be able to be more than successful, not just, meet and needs, be able to have an interesting and loving life that fits with my needs and what I value in life. I think it's so important that we show this reality to others.
Yeah, exactly. And we're actually bringing up all these light workers that are coming through us now. Like my son, my daughter is quite intuitive, but my son was like, he's next level intuitive. And it's like, when he was little, he's like, because I suffered from migraines, which is, a symptom in the endometriosis. And I would be just sitting there like, and you go, Mummy, have you got a headache? Do you? I'm like, yeah, honey, I have a headache. And he's like, do you want me to heal it for you? He was 6. And he's like, do you want me to heal it for you? And I was like, how do you know about healing how do you know about that kind of stuff? And so I sat there and I just let him do what he needed to do. And then 20 minutes later, my headache was gone. And I was like, oh my God. I said, what do you do with that energy though, Jackson? I was aware enough that I could say that to him. Like, what do you do with that energy? And he goes, tell you what I do, Mum. I bring all that bad energy that I just got from you and I take it into my heart. And I was like, oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then he goes, and then my heart crushes it up and I wee it out. Because it just comes out in my way. And I was like, oh, okay, as long as you're getting rid of it somehow. Nice, very good. So he instinctively knew that he can't hold on to that energy. I didn't teach him that. So it was like, we're raising now all these people, and more adults are becoming aware because our children are needing us to. So we're actually raising a whole new generation that are going to be completely aware of the divine energy that flows through all things, and to surrender to that instead of, trying to force things to happen, because, it's a co-creation. It's not, you can go out and make as much things happen as you want, but if it's not in alignment with the divine source, then it's not going to feel good to earn it.
Definitely. I love what you're sharing about the children. Definitely beautiful. I can see that around me, and I feel like they're so high frequency. I think they're going to teach us things soon. It'll be so beautiful. How beautiful is that?
Yeah,
I think they are the builders of this new earth, true earth, whatever version of earth that we are all so wanting to experience, right? We're co-creating it with them. So beautiful.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with, because we were all born with the 1 year. So 19. So we had the 1 come first. And now all this new generation have got the 2 first. So they're in the more feminine flow energy. Like they understand energy a lot better than we could, because we're born with the masculine energy through us. So this new generation that is coming through, like some of the things that my kids say, I'm like, oh, I would never have said that to my mum when I was that age. Oh my God, no. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see your point of view. Let's assess it. Or sometimes I'm like, that just really irritated me because I was never able to do that. So there is like discipline there, but it's like, huh, okay, I can, yeah, all right, I like that. I like that. So yeah, it's all about, is part of numerology, and they are not born with as much karma. So
Right.
our souls from like right up until 1999, we were born with a lot of karma, previous karma. I think it's like 1990 or something like that. If you were born before 1990, we had all this previous karma. Like our souls remember, we've got lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, but they're coming into this life learning, like knowing the lessons, but not bringing the karma with them. So it's very interesting because they're not going to, like my daughter, yeah, she was like early 2000s. So she's going to like struggle a little bit more than what my son will, even though there's only 2.5 years difference. But it's because she's absorbed some of my stuff without me even knowing it too. So, but yeah, they're not born with the same kind of karmic ties that what we are. So we've got that to deal with. And then, like you said, the ancestral trauma that's been passed down from generations. And it's just like, it's
What a time to
energy.
be on Earth.
Yeah. But it's our role. It's our role to, that's why we're here in this lifetime, is because the world needs us to go through this.
Exactly. And to come from whatever, even if we had all of those traumas and that was ours and our parents and blah 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 behind us, we're still able to shine and break free from that. And I think that's the biggest learning we all came here to experience. Like when you have had so much heaviness, and your own trauma and your own incarnation right now, whatever happened to you. And then at some point you can walk away from that. And as you said, like take the learnings, but reconnect to who you truly are at your essence and shine and be experience the life that you always wanted to experience. Like it's not for somebody else now, it's for you, and it's okay and it's good, and it's why we're here too. It's not only to suffer and be in the pain all the time, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So there's like you've got to be able to walk that line of healing, but not overly healing, not letting it become your distraction. And then there's the embodiment and making sure that you're coming from your soul and from your body, not from what other people have programmed you to do, because that's a lie. It's like a moth to a flame, is like people are going to gravitate towards you because you're an authentic being. You're not trying to pretend to be anybody else. You're just you. And it just shows. Your energy like leaves clues.
It's what we all are here to be, because yeah, and I think even through all of the light workers, of different kinds, the more authentic you are, as you said, the more attracting to your clients that want that need that are looking for that. They will be attracted like honey, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, authenticity is the highest vibration. Yeah. They used to think it was love and joy that was the highest vibration, but now it's authenticity. So it's like the more you are, the more money you're going to make, the more light you're going to bring to the world, the more you can help your clients, the more impact you can have on society. Because, like I said in a post the other day, is like the conscious entrepreneur, we understand what it's like to have no money. Like we get it. So we're more likely to go to the local grocery shop that is family run and pay that little bit extra because we can, rather than going to a big, well-known, huge brand that has massive buying power that like the CEO doesn't know your name. Like, whereas when you walk into that, well, I'm thinking the friendly grocer, because we actually have a grocery shop. It's a chain of groceries, and it's called the Friendly Grocer. So you can actually go there and the people are like, hi, how are you? Thank you for shopping here. Like, it makes it such a big deal. So the more people that are shopping at those local, the little meat places and the little groceries and the little fruit markets and the handmade stuff that these people have poured their heart and their soul into making a cup. And we're like, it's a cup. No one really cares about a cup. It's a cup. But for them, it's like an extra $30 in their account, and their heart and soul is being like appreciated. So yeah, it's like those are the kind of people that need to have more money, because these big corporations, they have enough. They don't need that anymore. But the little those little businesses, they need us. So their livelihood relies on us purchasing. So that's what the conscious entrepreneur, the wealthy conscious people are going to be doing, that kind of stuff more and more. So yeah, it makes a big difference. It does make a big difference.
Yeah, we are the ripple, and that's why we want to support others being the ripple too.
100%.
What would
100%.
be
I love that.
right? And what would be the last words that you'd like to people to remember you by, or remember from this conversation that we had?
Just that anyone can do this. Like, anyone can be intuitive, anyone can run their own business, anyone can be really successful. It's not about, if you went to uni, it's not about, how well you did in school. None of that actually really matters. That's why sometimes, my kids would get report cards that weren't quite, A's or B's. They were getting like B minuses and whatever. And I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, none of it really matters. It only matters if you plan to go to uni, and you guys are not going to uni. So really, you're just going to school because you kind of have to. And I'm not in a position where I can homeschool you. So I reckon we'd probably kill each other if we did. So it's not about your background or how you were brought up. It's about what you do from this moment moving forward. So you can choose to stay in those old programs that keep you stuck, or you can choose to release them on a conscious and subconscious and energetic bodily way, and then embody what you know and move forward with that and go and make tons of money helping people, helping people, helping people, helping people.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Such a beautiful soul you are. I love everything that you share. Thank you for being you and authentically you. Thank you for sharing your light with this planet that needs it so much. We're going to leave all of your details below this video. So if anyone wants to reach out, because you have freebies, you have so many things and programs, people can get to connect with you and know more one-on-one how you could support them, or in a group or whatever. So we'll have your in contact information below. Thank you again, Megs. It was beautiful to converse with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And this is needed. So what you're doing is like so important. And I'm glad that you're doing it, because, the more people that can shine that light the way that you do, the better off this world's going to be. So thank you for providing this platform.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's a pleasure. And yeah, I felt called to do this because I felt a lot of us needed first to connect with others like us, that we're doing that. And I learned so much from connecting with all of you. And I want you to be seen, however that is. And I know that the right people will watch the videos and that they will gain whatever they need to gain from this conversation. I know we spread our light however we can. I'm glad that you accepted this invitation. Thank you, beautiful, and have a good one. We'll see you all in the next one. If you want to connect with me and be part of my podcast, there's a link to click and book a time, or just message me to see when could be a good time and if you have any questions. So thank you again, and I'll see you very soon.